What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets a seventh inning stretch. It's your boys, Trenton and CJ, and today's destination is taking us back to the DC universe. I wasn't expecting us to get a Lanterns trailer, but I am so happy that we did. Funny enough, it was actually supposed to drop on Thursday.
Thursday! Thursday!
Come on, that'd be great.
Right.
But apparently it got leaked, so they released the full trailer on Wednesday. And I just want to say right off the bat, before we get into anything, I thought it looked incredible. And I guess that's a hot take, apparently.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely seen some mixed reviews and mixed reactions to this trailer for sure. But I mean, overall, I really enjoyed it. I think there was a lot of things to like about this. It seems really promising. The tone seems great. I love John and Hal's chemistry. It seems like the casting is done really well, and I'm just excited for these next steps of the DCU and to see where this leads up to, because seemingly this is going to lead into the broader DCU plot.
Yeah, exactly. And when I first saw the first picture of Hal and John, I feel like this trailer definitely carried on that vibe that first picture gave very well. And also, I gotta say one thing, guys. This is a teaser. I don't know if you guys know that. It says teaser. And this is mostly footage probably from the first 3 episodes of the series. They're probably saving the good stuff for a longer trailer, or golly gee shucks, I don't know, the actual show. Man, I mean, imagine if Iron Man 1 came out this year and they teased his first suit from the cave in the trailer, nothing else. Everybody would call that show trash, because trailers nowadays show so much, and the general atmosphere and pre-release show and movie culture is stuff getting leaked all the damn time. To the people who dislike this trailer, I'm willing to bet you also dislike something about the Superman movie before it came out. But after it came out, I know you glazed the crap out of that movie, as it rightfully deserved, because the movie was great. But the point is, y'all switched up. And I know y'all are going to switch up on the Lanterns too. So for those people, you guys need to learn how to have faith and wait to create a critical opinion about something of its quality until you watch it in its entirety, like an intelligent person. So yeah, I guess you could say this Lanterns trailer has me ready to defend it a little bit.
Yeah, I think people are kind of forgetting that this teaser is 2 minutes long for a probably 8-episode show, at least. So like you said, most of the stuff that we're seeing in this teaser is probably within the first couple episodes. People have been pointing out they're wearing basically the same clothes throughout the whole teaser, so this could all happen in one day. So we really don't know what to expect from the second half of the show. People who have been working on it have been saying that it's going to be building and building up to something bigger the later on the show goes. So yeah, I think this is sort of a case of people judging a book by its cover, painting a broad brush over a 2-minute teaser for a show that is going to be way more than what we've seen so far.
Exactly. So the trailer begins with the story picking up 2 months into John Stewart's training as Green Lantern, who will be played by Aaron Pierre from his mentor, Hal Jordan, who will be played by Kyle Chandler. Very, very happy with these castings. I think they're great.
Yeah, I agree. I think the John Stewart casting in particular, they nailed for sure. I think he's going to do a great job. I'm a little interested in the Hal Jordan casting, because he seems like he's in his mid to late 50s, maybe early 60s even. And I know for a lot of people, Hal Jordan is like their favorite Green Lantern. So it's kind of interesting to me that they have him sort of introduced kind of on his last stretch seemingly. Like this doesn't really seem like prime Hal Jordan. So I'm curious what the reasoning for that is. I would be surprised if this is the only project that we see Hal Jordan in. So maybe there's going to be a project release for a flashback, or maybe when Hal Jordan's in his prime or something. But I was a little interested with that casting. But I mean, he seems like he's going to play a great Hal Jordan.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think he's going to play really good Hal Jordan too. And I have 2 points to your questions. First, since it is an older Hal Jordan, it's definitely going to be more of an experienced Hal Jordan. He's going to have a bit more of a bitter take on the world, because he's seen so much, he's been through so much. And I think they did that because since they're bringing John Stewart so early into his career, I feel like they're going to balance each other out really well in a way. It's going to be like an Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker type of dynamic before Anakin turned to the dark side. I'm not saying that Hal Jordan is going to turn to the dark side. It's just strictly before Anakin did, I feel like that dynamic is going to be similar to what's going on in the Lantern show.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I think it is going to create for a good dynamic between the two and a good like kind of dichotomy of the characters.
The dichotomy of it all, right? The dichotomy of it all.
Like you mentioned, Hal Jordan being a little bit later on, like maybe a little more jaded because of the things that he's seen, and John is more like committed to achieve like his goal and like get in the good graces with Green Lanterns. So yeah, I think that's probably going to create for some good scenes for sure.
Yeah, and also there's a line near the end of the trailer that Hal says, replying to John criticizing him, saying, "It's still my job to protect people, and as long as I'm alive, that's not changing. So get used to it." Maybe that line alone is alluding to the exact reason why we're getting an older Hal Jordan. I hope not, because I think we could at least get Hal Jordan in like one Justice League movie or one, or at least in Man of Tomorrow, something like that. We cannot waste Kyle Chandler in one season. We cannot do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know that there's like some people may be thinking that that line is alluding to like Hal Jordan dying at the end of the season and then passing the ring on to John, and that's kind of like his origin and how John gets his powers. But I hope that's not how they go with it. I hope that they don't, like you said, just use Kyle Chandler for this one appearance. I want him to be like a sort of like a mentor for John later on in his life as well, and someone who he can like go to for advice and stuff like that.
Yeah. And since it's been 2 months of training so far, John's like, "Why can't I wear the ring yet?" And right after we see the ring, and it looks really good. It looks exactly how I think the ring should look, so that's nice. But Hal responds, "Me and the ring both think that you're not ready for this. You're the sub. You're not the actual teacher at the front of the class. You're in the back of the class right now. But hey, let's see what you can do." And he sets the ring on the dash and just jumps out of the car, leaving John having to save himself for the first time ever, seemingly, trying the ring out as he's flying over a cliff. I mean, such a wild but fun scene to again just like further establish the dynamic that's going to be going on between these two, with Hal being the unconventional teacher with a lot of wisdom and knowledge, being underestimated by John, the trainee, who's probably going to be overly confident in himself and has a lot to learn, but still has a lot of untapped potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. I thought this was a great opening to the teaser. Just throwing John right into the lion's den. Like, okay, you want to get trained? I'll train you my way. Here,
Yep.
I'm gonna drive off this cliff, and let's see if you can save yourself. And seemingly he does. I mean, he walks away from the car crash unscathed. Not with the car, so the car seemingly totaled, obviously, but he's totally fine. So I don't know. Maybe he's yeah, he seems kind of comfortable with it.
Yeah, thank God, because that probably could have gone bad.
It could, like, literally, what was Hal thinking? Like, if that doesn't go right, he loses his car, his ring, and his student. Like, what
But
else
hey,
is he supposed to do?
I mean, maybe that 2 months really did a lot for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's a testament to Hal for sure. He seems like he's got to be a good teacher at least.
Yeah. So when they're riding into town, I mean, this reminded me a lot of True Detective season 1 with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, with just the eerie feeling and the atmosphere, surrounding the town, and also the song just having kind of like a haunting, middle of nowhere town kind of vibe.
Something is off here. I can feel it.
Yeah, 100%. I thought the tone of this teaser was really great. I love all the like the true crime, true detective vibe, like you mentioned. It seems like this show is kind of, at least this teaser was leaning more into the like the buddy cop stuff rather than the superhero stuff. Like, instead of being a superhero show, it's a show with superheroes, including superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not all about the powers.
Yeah, definitely. Which I also think is why some people are kind of irate with the whole thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I think people's expectations kind of affected the way that they viewed this trailer for sure.
Yeah. So Hal and John walk into a town meeting and they meet Kelly McDonald's character named Carrie. I'm 99% sure she's an original character. I tried to see if she had a character in the comics. I couldn't really find anything, but it seems like she's the town sheriff or deputy in charge, something like that. And then around the same time, we see Paul Ben Victor's character named Anton. Double A in there, so I'm going with Anton. But yeah, we got him, some of his henchmen behind him. And I know he just looks like a dude, but this guy's not a dude. He's an alien. and he is rumored to be the character Atrocitus, leader and founder of the Red Lantern Corps, rumored to be on Earth with a vengeance and exposing the truth of how his people were wronged by, I don't know, shot in the dark, the Green Lanterns, maybe, or someone in there. So he's on Earth along with Sinestro, who was formerly a Green Lantern, but is probably going to be sporting yellow as he classically does in the comics when he is full villain. So we're just, slowly making our way down the emotional spectrum right now. We got red, we got yellow, we got green. So I'm pretty hyped. And, Sinestro wasn't in the trailer, but he is confirmed in the casting. So that's why I mentioned him.
Yeah, it's gonna be super cool to see Sinestro in the show. I'm really looking forward to that. And I like how this character was introduced in like human form. I was a little surprised about it at first because of like who he's rumored to be based on like the comics. But I kind of like how they introduced it at first. I mean, the show is supposed to be more grounded, at least is what they've been saying, at least to start off the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of ground in this trailer.
There's a whole lot of ground. Yeah, they're walking around outside a lot. That's for sure. So I'm interested to see how how these characters develop as the show goes on.
100%. And it does seem like Kelly and our lanterns are going to be butting heads. John says to Hal, yeah, dude, she hates your guts. And Hal like doesn't even care that's the fact. He's like, but it's the way she hates them. Like, is she hiding something? Is she scared? Is she in trouble? He's very curious. There's layers to this stuff. But I think eventually down the line, they're just going to have to come together to take down the bad guys, to put horribly.
Yeah, I think I think that's probably the way to go. I don't know. I mean, she seemed like she told them to like stay the F out of her way, literally, which I don't know if she's just not aware of who the Green Lanterns are or is aware of something that happened with Hal Jordan in the past, maybe.
I mean, she did call him a hotshot, so like he's got some sort of reputation.
Yeah, they know at least who he is and what he's done. So I don't know if she has some like animosity towards him personally, or maybe if she's somehow connected to whatever is going on that they're trying to figure out, like maybe if she's behind the scenes like pulling the strings in some way. But yeah, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting relationship for sure. It seems like Hal's kind of got the hots for her in a way, or at least maybe they had some relationship in the past in some way. So it's going to be that's going to be a good dynamic, I think.
Yeah, and then we start seeing some shots of some sort of fatal event that happened in the town's high school or college football stadium. And not at the same location, I don't think, but we see dozens of bullet casings. There's a lot of shooting in this trailer. Burnt up and wrecked gates, cars, destroyed motels. I mean, this town is going to really need a lot of loans from the government to rebuild the infrastructure if we want to think critically about this.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to repair everything that's going to happen in this season for sure. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. This is a hectic town. And there has to be some explanation for it, and they're definitely going to expand on that as the season goes on.
Yeah, I just wonder who's going to be showing up to the town first, the Red Lanterns or the Green Lanterns? Because the Green Lanterns are there investigating something, so maybe the Red Lanterns are like doing stuff behind the scenes, and the Green Lanterns like kind of heard from a little birdie, just that stuff's going on.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle that.
Yeah, although I hope most of the damage occurs on screen, not off screen, because I would really want to see that.
Yeah, I do too. Even from this teaser alone, there are some really cool visuals with some of the explosions and some shooting.
Yeah. And Hal and John are not really seeing eye to eye all that much throughout this trailer. And John says, like, I think I can do this Green Lantern stuff better than you do. And like, come on, fellas, like let's get it together. Like, I understand you guys might not be going about it the same way.
Yeah, they got to get on the same page for sure. I mean, they've been working together for 2 months and they already despise each other and haven't been able to figure themselves out. So yeah, there are things going on bigger than their personal relationship. Whether or not they like each other, they have to get along, at least for now, in order to solve the bigger problem. I mean, we already learned that mistake from Avengers Civil War and Iron Man and Captain America breaking up the team and then not being ready for Thanos and Infinity War. So we can't have another thing like that happening. We need Hal and John to be on the same page.
Yeah, they need to be some sort of brainiac.
yeah, for sure.
But Hal says to John, like I mentioned before, it's my job to protect people too, as long as I'm still alive. That's not changing, so get used to it. But then John says back to Hal, nah, you're old.
You're old. Rolling like a geese. Look at yourself, old man. You got multiple chins 'cause you're old.
You're tired. Your time is done. Like, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's rough. That is rough. He's
You're
really
old.
you're cooked. You're cooked, man.
Well, no wonder. It's all old and dried out, like that man right there.
You're washed. He said he's washed.
F's in the chat for Hal, guys. Come on. But we also get a shot of, I think this is going to be Hal's suit, most likely. And man, what type of controversy this suit has stirred up online. I mean, some people like it, more people really don't like it. Me personally, I like it. I tend to like things. That's just who I am. But I also know that's not going to be the only suit that we get in the whole show. I mean, obviously, if they're going to be working in more of a desert-based area, let's have a bit more of a desert-based suit. Imagine walking around, full like neon green and whatnot, bright white and the little face guard. Like, yes, that would look cool, but that would just stand out way too much with what they're seeming to try to accomplish. They're trying to be, undercover a little bit. Obviously, people like Kelly know who he is, but, she needs to know who Hal is because they're supposed to be working together on this whole crime stuff. But they need to be undercover. They can't just be walking around like Guy Gardner normally does.
Yeah. I mean, they're wearing their civilian clothes throughout basically the entire trailer, so it would be a little juxtaposition for them to be wearing like neutral colors, tan clothes, and then have like look like a disco ball essentially, like when they're in their suit, like that would, like you said, it would absolutely stand out in like the middle of nowhere in whatever town that is. They would put a target on their backs for sure. And yeah, they're trying to be like a little undercover. It seems like they're not going around telling everybody who exactly they are. So yeah, I thought the suit was, I like that they're doing something a little different than like the animated or like the comic book or even like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern suit. I like how it's different. I think it fits the vibe of the show. Like we mentioned earlier, it's not like a superhero show. It's a show with superheroes in it that's based on a murder mystery essentially that they're trying to figure out. So but I mean, yeah, this was definitely the most controversial part of the trailer and definitely got the biggest pushback for sure, which was interesting.
Yeah, I also wonder, since Guy Gardner's suit is funded by Lord Tech, Maxwell Lord, I wonder if Hal Jordan's is going to be the same story.
It could be that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle that. I mean, he's, like we mentioned, this is a bit of an older Hal Jordan. Maybe he's had this suit for decades by now, and it's just an older version that he's just held on to for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's going to be an explanation for it in the show because it does look quite different than the Guy Gardner suit.
Yeah, I do actually like that idea of that being like one of Hal's first suits, and he's just very sentimental to it, despite how it might appear a little tacky or something. Maybe we even get a line of John saying like, "Dude, you're old. Look at your suit. Like, what is this?" And he's like, I like it, or whatever. So maybe they might actually like lean into that a little bit. I don't know, but either way, I don't think the suit looks bad, especially with where we're at in the story and what's going on within the story.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe it does play in the story in some way.
Yep. But more shots of local cowboys, probably undercover Red Lanterns. That's what I'm gonna be assuming. They got assault rifles, drive-bys with assault rifles, explosions, rubble, more explosions, but also our lanterns are exploring a random lab, so there's definitely going to be some sort of experiment stuff, maybe experiment gone wrong kind of stuff. But we also get a scene of John getting something pointed at his head, him screaming out in pain or whatnot, and he's getting kidnapped by the Red Lanterns at some point during this show, which is not good. But again, they're definitely behind the stuff going on in this town and probably make up most of, if not all of, whatever local militia that they have too.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like there's a secret like hidden in this town. Like the people in the town know about it, but it hasn't been revealed to Hal and John yet. Probably going to be some big reveal in the show, whether they're involved with the Yellow Corps or just some other sinister plan that they have going on.
Yeah. Then we see the lantern. We see the thing. That's the Green Lantern. That's the Green Lantern. There it is.
We saw the Green Lantern in the Lantern Show, and
Yeah.
it's being held by one of the Green Lanterns.
Oh, it's crazy, bro. We got to see the lantern. But yeah, the trailer ends with William Macon's character, the one played by Garrett Dillahunt. That character's brother, named Billy Macon, he's being played by Jason Ritter. Billy Macon, he's being interrogated by Hal Jordan. Gives us a proper name drop. I'm Hal Jordan. I'm a Green Lantern. And I can punch you with my ring powers. So, ha! And we get a nice little ring shot. Pretty cool. But yeah, and then we get release date of August. Very exciting.
Yeah, yeah, looking forward to it. Not too far away. It will be coming out a little bit after Supergirl does, so I wonder if it's going to fall around that time on the timeline as well. It seems like James Gunn mentioned that all of the projects that are being released as of right now are being released in chronological order. So points that they release them, that's when they happen in the storyline, at least until they say something else or reference something else. But I wonder if this is going to happen before Superman at all, because there was a line towards the end where John asked him like if he knows any of the other Green Lanterns, and Hal says, "I'm the only human. Everybody else is aliens." But
Yeah, that line has also thrown the whole internet
it's
through a loop
people.
because people are saying like, is it bad writing? Does Hal Jordan just not like Guy Gardner so much that he just wants to ignore him completely? Because Guy Gardner is going to be in the show. He's gonna interact with our lanterns at some point. So I think eventually like Guy's gonna show and be like, "What's up, fellas?" And Hal's just gonna be like, "God damn it."
Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably how it's gonna be. I don't think they would overlook that as a writing mistake if they noticed it. Like I mean, we just last year we saw Green Lantern. We had Guy Gardner and Superman, one of the biggest movies of the year. So like I don't think that's gonna be a writing mistake. That feels like something that they will explain.
Especially to put in the teaser. It's in like
Yeah.
like the teaser is what they show the least of, and they put that line in the teaser at the very end. So like there's layers to this stuff, guys.
Exactly. Yeah, it's either that like this is happening before Guy Gardner's a Green Lantern, or he just, because Guy Gardner is like part human, part alien, he maybe not doesn't consider him as a full human. So maybe there's like something there, or he just hates Guy Gardner's guts.
Yeah. So yeah, can't wait to see what this show has in store. I can't wait for more DC stuff happening later on this year, and we'll definitely be covering it along with more Marvel stuff. And for those who like baseball, guess what? The season's starting up, so we're gonna be doing more baseball content. So if you like that, please hit the sub button if you want to see more of it, and please hit the like button if you made it this far. And if there's any topics that you would like us to talk about, leave it down to the comments because we will talk about it because we like to yap. So if you want to watch us yap, then we hope to see you on the next one. Peace.